for myself.
I did. You're gonna tell me when we're live, Deb?
We are. We're good to go.
We're ready to go?
Yep, ready to go.
We're all here. I'll call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Delaney.
Here.
Perkins.
Here.
Musgrave.
Here.
Weinbrenner.
Here.
Kinnaman. Powers.
Here.
McKinney.
Here. We have a quorum. I'll entertain motion to excuse Mr. Kinnaman and Mr. Gilman. We have Mr. Gilman excused also.
Yes, please.
We have a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion and support. Roll call vote, please.
Perkins.
Yes.
Musgrave.
Yes.
Weinbrenner.
Yes.
Delaney.
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes. Motion carried. Consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the village council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately immediately after the consent agenda approval in its normal sequence on the regular agenda.
I make the motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion support. Roll call vote, please.
Musgrave.
Yes.
Weinbrenner.
Yes.
Delaney.
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes. Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is the public hearing for the Cdbg funds. We need a preliminary remarks before we open the public hearing.
Certainly, I think Ms. Bigger will take just a minute to explain the purpose of the CDBG and perhaps talk about those organizations that have expressed interest.
This CDGB is the Community Development Block Grant through Oakland County. They allow us to spend money only in certain categories and only for certain amounts and only in certain areas of the village. We've applied for it again this year. It will be for program year 2022. And the amount we have one public service for $3,500, and we have a balance of $18,648. That's the total amount we can get. The only organization that applied for our public service is Haven. I talked to Haya, and they said that it's too restrictive. They are not applying for the money this year. So the only application we've received is from Haven.
I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Weinbrenner.
Yes.
Delaney.
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Musgrave.
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes, motion carried. It's 7:05, and I'll open the public hearing regarding the program year 2022 CDBG fund. The public hearing is open. Anyone wishing to offer comments?
I have a question.
Yes, sir, come forward and state, oh, sir, it's not sir, it's Chris.
Chris Summers, 826 Richard. Could you just explain Haya and Haven, what that is?
Oh, I'm sorry. A Haven is a organization run through Oakland County for abused women and children. It provides housing and it gets them out of bad situations. Haya is Holly Area Youth Association
Assistance.
Assistance. Sorry.
Haven's been around for a long time for battered and abused spouses.
Correct.
It's a wonderful program.
Yes. And we have given money to them in the past. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Last year we did.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
And we're only allowed $3,500 because it's only a percentage of our total. We're not allowed to give any more.
Anyone else wishing to offer any comments or questions in the public hearing? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing.
I'm sorry, I think I saw one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Love, we're gonna not close the public hearing. Mr. Love.
Okay, thanks.
Use your name and address.
John Love, 200 North Saginaw. I'm just wondering if you could just explain a little bit about how much money is involved here. A little background on it.
Oakland County determines it by the population of each municipality. This year, just one moment and I can tell you.
22,148.
Yes.
That job's not that hard.
Yes, and we can spend $3,500 on a public service, which is what Haven is, which leaves a balance of $18,648.
And staff has a recommendation in that regard.
Staff has a recommendation to spend the $18,648 to work on sidewalks. We have put money in the past towards sidewalks, and it's not enough to do much, so we're hoping to combine the 2 years.
Any further comments or questions? Again, hearing none, seeing none, I will, this time, close the public hearing and,
Do we need a motion of it?
7:08, 7:08, close the public hearing, 7:08. And,
Make a motion, we re-enter into our
I think we're all
regular,
set now. We're closing the public hearing, we're okay?
You're fine, yep.
oh, we don't need a motion, okay.
No.
I retract
All right. There is no old business, oh,
that.
public comment.
Public comment.
Funny how I missed that. Next on the agenda is public comment. Members of the public can address council once recognized by the chairperson. Comments are limited to a maximum of 4 minutes for items not on the agenda. Council may extend this time for up to an additional 4 minutes by a majority vote. For items on the agenda, comments may be made after council discussion, prior to council vote. Prior to addressing council, members of the public shall state their name and address for the record, please. On the agenda for discussion and also for public comment during that period after council discussion, number 1, consideration of the approval of resolution 2021-041 authorizing the village president and clerk treasurer to execute the documents for the 2022 program year community development public grant application for submission to Oakland County. Item 2, special event, Andy's Place carry-out seating. Item 3, consideration of the approval of resolution 2021-042 offering water and sewer utilities to yes, exclamation point, communities. Public comment, is there anyone offering to make public comment for items not on the evening's agenda? Mr. Love?
All right, I still live at the same address. The bees, bikes and banners, and also the water bills. Might as well start with the water bill. I'm going to have to sell some property to pay the water bills. I wonder what the schedule is on how it's going to be handled, you know, with these $1,000, $2,000 water bills that, you know, there hasn't been any shutoffs or what the plan is for D-Day. That's water. The B's are bikes and banners. We got bike lanes, but I don't see any bikes. Is there some reason for that? Because if we have a need for a bike lane, we should have some bikes. So one thing that happened with the creation of these bike lanes is that it's harder to get out of my driveway. Because people, well, what are you doing? It's only one lane. So, but that's life. On the banners, we've got this is the home of the Broncos. I don't consider Holly a Bronco town, some horses. I have the reason what I like the town is the historic aspect that has been saved from ending up like Fenton, where they did urban removal. I saved a few of these historic buildings. I missed one though. You managed to get the waterworks. So I'd like to see, maybe we can have a banner saying goodbye to the waterworks, or something that's meritorious, that's relative to everyone here in the town and to the people that we are trying to attract. So that's the banners and the bikes. One last thing, I'm not going to see any of you again until next year. So I have a good year for what's remaining. Thank you, and it's going to be an interesting year next year. Up in Lansing, they're just passing a bill to let 17-year-olds sell alcohol, because that's the big issue there with these office holders. They didn't manage to get the 4 a.m. Opening passed, but maybe they'll work on it some more this year, because that's another issue that is very important for office holders so they can keep getting their money. Incidentally, U.S. Congress cut the alcohol tax by $3 billion a year because they're suffering and we don't need the money. We're going to get ripped off better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Love. Any further public comment? Yes, sir.
Howdy, folks. Jacob Crevier, 507 Ash Street. Hope everyone's Thanksgiving went well. I just had something I wanted to bring up real quick because I've been going to the meetings for a few months and I haven't heard it brought up here or the township meeting. But there was an announcement just the other day from the Attorney General, Dana Nessel, about a opioid crisis settlement. And communities and municipalities in the state of Michigan that have at least 10,000 residents are eligible for that. I know the village of Holly only has about 6. I know the township has 12. I'm not sure if that overlaps. I'm going to speak to the township about it too when I'm there. But pretty much the more communities that sign up for it, the more money the state of Michigan gets from these pharmaceutical companies that pumped out Vicodin and Oxycontin onto our streets and killed 100,000 people last year. So I'm not sure how you guys legally operate, like cross-operate, but I just wanted to bring it up so you can give the township a holler and maybe talk to some of your lawyers. The deadline to sign up for it is January 2nd, 2022. And all you have to do is send an email to them on their website to kind of get yourself in the queue to start the process. But it's a lot of money. They're estimating Michigan's going to get like $800 million bare minimum over the next 18 years for it. And it's for the municipalities to spend presumably however they want, because the lawsuit's pretty much already done. It's just that's the payout structure for how they settle it. So just some thoughts. I can shoot the, if you guys have an email or whatnot, I can shoot the link for you at the end. But, thanks.
Any further, yes, Matt?
Mary Blanchard, 3444 Old Creek Drive, Holly, Michigan. I did send the board, or the council, the sheets from Denise Trabick-Pointer regarding her report in response to Kim Etheridge's comments and Eagle's response to the surface water testing. I'd like to ask Clerk Baker, if I hand this to you, will it be actually part of the record, or do I need to read it?
No, I can put it with the actual record.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, great. The other thing I would like to ask about is the Charter and Ordinance meeting minutes from November 30th. I did try to sign in a few different times, a couple different ways to sign in, and I was not able to. The problem seemed to be that it did not have a password. So I just wonder if somebody could update on how that meeting went.
Thank you.
Any further?
Can anybody update on how that went?
I had the same trouble you did.
Yeah,
Thank you.
perhaps we can do that in council comment.
Council
Not
comments,
during
or there's
public
actually
comment.
minutes of that meeting also.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any further public comment? Hearing none, seeing none, I'm gonna close public comment. There is no old business. New business, item number 1, consideration of the approval of resolution 2021-04, when authorizing the village president, clerk, treasurer to execute the documents for the 2022 program year community development block grant application for submission to Oakland County. Ms. Bigger, are you on again?
I guess I am. This is actually the resolution authorizing us to sign, and it is where council picks the public service that you choose for us to spend the money on. Like I said before, Haven is the only one that actually applied for the public service grant, and staff is recommending that the balance be spent to restore and put in sidewalks.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution 2021-041, authorizing the village president and clerk treasurer to execute the documents for the 2022 program year CDBG funds.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion.
Delaney got me.
And let me add, to be used for $3,500 for Haven and $18,648 for sidewalks.
Motion by Musgrave, support by Delaney. Any further discussion? If there is no public discussion, any public discussion? There's no council discussion? Any public discussion before we vote? All right. Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Delaney,
Yes.
Powers,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Musgrave,
Yes.
Weinbrenner,
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes. Motion carried. Item 2, new business. Special event, Andy's Place, carry out seating.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So this is a request of Andy's Place. As you'll recall, all summer long, in the last couple of years, they have had a deck out in front of their bar restaurant for public seating. They think that having a tent in front of their establishment in the exact same place where the deck was would help them conduct business, in that they are still experiencing a large amount of carry-out business, and their intention would be to have their carry-out customers wait in the tent where they could wait for their order to be completed and pick it up from there. Because if you've been inside of Andy's, you'll recall that there's not a lot of standing area, and they end up blocking the aisleways. And so this is a request. It creates a slight inconvenience for the village DPW as they're plowing, but it's something that we can work around if council feels that this is appropriate. This is in your new business section because this request was made after the 60-day period.
Mr. Walker, is the tent that's currently there, is that the tent we were talking about?
That is the tent. If approved, then the DPW would install the yellow bollards
Okay.
for additional protection and identification.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the special event for Andy's Place carry-out seating.
I'll second. Pick one, we all did.
I think Mr. Perkins got it.
Okay, that's okay.
Maybe because I'm right next to it. Motion by Musgrave, support by Perkins. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Powers,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Musgrave,
Yes.
Weinbrenner,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes, motion carried. Item 3, new business. Consideration of the approval of resolution 2021-042 offering water and sewer utility services to yes communities. Mr. Walker?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So as you can see from the council action request that I submitted, the Holly Hills mobile home community expansion has been a hot topic in the community, both in our village council meetings as well as the township and other forums. During those conversations and outside of those meetings, there has been the question asked many times of why doesn't that community simply hook up to the village water and sewer system? In discussions with President McKinney, even though we have verbally made the offer in the past that we would be willing to sit down and speak with the owners that run Holly Hills Community, which at this current time is Yes Communities. It was the president's recommendation that we look at having council do a formal resolution and offer to talk about those services. And so that's what you have in front of you. It is not a contract at this time. It is nothing more than the village council, which I think is significant, offering to sit down and talk about providing those services to that community. Keep in mind, we don't have any legal right to force them to do that. We can simply offer, and that's what this is. We've done it verbally in the past. This would be a written commitment by the village council to sit down and discuss those services. We do have the capacity to provide both water and sewer services.
Mr. Walker, do they have a community well now that supplies them with water, or?
Yes, they have their own system, and in fact, they have their own system for the expansion that they're currently working on also, which it's my understanding, we have nothing to do with it on the village end, but it's my understanding that it has been approved on the state end, but that does not preclude that community from, in essence, contracting with the village to provide those resources.
Would there be any investment from the village as far as infrastructure? I know the mains run right down East Holly Road, but would there be any costs incurred?
No. If they were to want to hook up to our system, it would be their responsibility to bear all costs
Okay.
for the connection.
Okay.
And for any upgrades to their internal system that would be required, such as if their meters are appropriate, they might be fine, but they would have to have meters that would work with our system as well as the external readings boxes, the MXUs, and any master meter type system we would require.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Walker, what would the potential effect be on water bills?
Well, certainly, I mean, anytime that there's a greater volume of water that goes through, that is better for all of the existing customers, as well as the debt service that would be collected. So that community would be no different than Hawaiian Gardens or Holly Village communities that we already service.
Are they net metered or is that individual metered?
So our two communities are master metered.
That's what I thought.
Yes, and then what the mobile home communities do on their own end, how they bill, that strictly up to them. But from the village's perspective, we have a master meter at the beginning of the complex, meters all the water that goes in, and that is the payment that's due back to our system, which benefits all the users of the system.
Now, Jerry, you and I talked about dockside. Would this affect dockside at all? Will they be able to also jump in and start getting their water from the village?
So dockside, for those of you who are not familiar with it, that is a condominium complex, and it is located over off of Grange Hall Road, back in the new development back there. They are already an existing customer in the fact that they use the village water and sewer. They are hooked up to that. They have their own private company that bills and takes care of that. There has been some inquiry as to them jumping onto the village system as a regular customer of the village and kind of eliminating the middleman. That has nothing to do with this proposal, though.
Okay.
That's a totally separate thing. To answer your question, they do have that capability. There's some other requirements they would have to make, but just to not be confused, it has nothing to do with this. This proposed resolution deals only with Holly Hills community.
I'll make the motion that we consider the approval of resolution 2021-042 offering water and sewer utilities to Yes Community.
Second.
Motion by Musgrave, supported by Delaney. If you have, we have there's really no nexus between the village and the Yes Community. We have no jurisdiction out there. Our capable police department can't write a ticket. And that sort of thing. We have no standing with regard to any activity out there, because we have no special relationship with them. No public safety regulation, no zoning regulation. However, if there is a demand for water and sewer services to fix or cure environmental matters, we can do something. We can make our award-winning water and sewer services available. So I thought it would be a good idea to say, when we don't regulate, we can participate in fixing something that some people think is wrong. Now, I know the Yes communities think that they've got a fine water system, a fine water cleaning system. Not everyone agrees with that. And Mr. Walker is correct. We can't compel anybody to contract with us. I don't know anybody can do that. Not if it's your property. They can't. They love the baby did, but your property is good. So it's something we can do, but there's a lot we can't do. So I thought, why not bring it on for consideration?
I agree.
Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Powers,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Musgrave,
Yes.
Weinbrenner,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes, motion carried.
I wanted to talk about that.
Oh, I didn't see you, John. I'm sorry. Well, I'll tell you what, it's, did you want to offer some remarks now?
I just wanted to share what the situation is. I went out there and tested the water at Holly Road coming out of the trailer park. And it was a couple of times over the limit for skin contact by having human waste or something involved in the water that's flowing out of that place. But yeah, I understand that the situation is they have this trailer park commission. The trailer park commission is trailer park people on it setting the rules for Michigan. It's the only one in the country. And as a result, the office holders have given them a carte blanche to do whatever they want. So they do whatever they want, instead of having any kind of sanity to control the environment of this place. Also, they have decided that we have property taxes are based on inflation. Theirs, the property tax is $3 a month that they pay per trailer. $3 a month, fixed amount. It's been fixed for 50 years. So don't worry about it. Office holders are working night and day to help them, not us. So I just want to make sure that we recognize the great representatives we have. And it's not Democrats or Republicans. It's all of them. It's sickening.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Love. Yes?
Pat Feeney, 210 Franklin Street.
First, I want to thank you guys for, at least making the effort to do that, because I think it's going to be, if they were to take you up on the offer, I think it'd be a great benefit for the residents and also for a lot of the residents of Holly, because what Mr. Love, I'm sorry, I almost forgot your name there, was alluding to is that they do have a permit to put the treated sewage into Kearns Marsh, which is directly across Holly Road from it, which flows into Saginaw, or to the Shiawassee River. And over the last, probably dozen years, they've had numerous violations and they have dumped sewage in. As recently, I think, Mary, like last March or so, they had a violation. Yeah, they were cited by Eagle on that. So anything that could be done to bring that, have that stop would be great to the community. But the one thing I want to point out is that doesn't alleviate the issue on Falk Road. As Mr. Walker was at our public meeting concerning Falk Road, as the geologist stated, our aquifer for this area, for the water supply of this area, is underneath that dump. That still needs to be addressed. And I, plead with you to take it seriously. It needs to be, something needs to come up. 1994, they determined that that dump had toxic waste in it. So testing it, that's at this point in time, testing the dump is redundant. What needs to be done now is a plan by you, plan to come up with how to mediate the issues with that. And but this, I'm very encouraged, and got to give kudos where it's due, and hopefully Mr. Walker is successful on convincing Yes Community to hooking up, because that will be one, as someone who lives right across from the Shiawassee River, would greatly appreciate knowing the fact that that isn't going into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Feeney. Any further public comment? Yes.
Mary Blanchard, 3444 Old Creek Drive, Holly, Michigan. And just to go off of what Pat just said, there are two deep wells at this point, 314 feet deep. They are in the Coldwater Shale, which is a poor quality of water. The wastewater treatment plant has had a history of violations throughout their entire history. In 2019 and 2020. Eagle cited them in April of this year for 4 exceedances on a daily and monthly basis, and also for failure to report those exceedances. So there are serious issues, and we are still waiting to hear from Eagle as to the results that they have come up with on the site violations that were noted from the whole summer. So, and that was, I think October 15th was their site evaluation. So I thank you as well for offering to them to do the water and sewer utilities, and I hope they will take you up on it. Thank you.
Any further comment? Any further comment? Hearing none, seeing none. We'll go on to reports. Mr. Walker.
I have no report other than my written report, which is attached.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Bigger.
I have no verbal report this month.
Boards and commissions updates and council comments. Mr. Dillon?
The ZBA did not meet in December due to lack of agenda items. The Charter and Ordinance Committee did meet, and our single agenda item, as it has been for the previous 3 meetings, is the proposed marijuana ordinance. We did conclude our work on that ordinance. As you noted, Mr. President, There are minutes available for all of those meetings, but to summarize, we have had two major goals to achieve, which was the application process for businesses that wanted to come into the village and to apply for a license from the village in order to engage in business, and also the regulations, the local regulations that would govern those businesses. And that includes everything from the number and types of licenses, because of course we're not just talking about dispensaries, but also grow facilities and secure transport and the like. And things like setbacks from churches and schools, zoning, where it is appropriate in the village to place these businesses and where it's not appropriate, and that sort of thing. And beyond that, I have no comment except to.
Summarized
Well,
it perfect.
yeah.
Great.
Did I hit everything,
You
Mr.
hit
Powers? I'm
everything,
glad.
right.
Yeah. I have no further comment except to say Merry Christmas, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Mr. Weinberg.
No comment, but Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk.
Historical met on December 9th. We only had one agenda item, and that was the new design guidelines for the residential historic district, which is this thick. So it's gonna take some time to actually get it finished.
Reading for you.
Plenty. And other than that, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Powers.
Just a comment on the Tickets Festival. I had the family come in. Nick and his crew and all of them did a terrific job on it. Lots of fun, and it's just a great festival to go to. And thank you for supporting it. Thank you for working on it, all those that worked on it and volunteered. And no other comment other than Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Rick. Ms. Musgrave.
Personnel did not meet, finance did not meet. Dickens, judging from the cars that were up and down the road and down my road and down Saginaw, it looked like a good turnout, so I'm glad to see that. And thank you, Nick, and all your
Was not Nick.
helpers and volunteers.
It was George, Cullis mostly, Richard came in, their group, so.
No.
I did help volunteer.
Yes, you did.
Did not head it up, so. Make sure everybody knew that.
Exactly. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody, and hope your Thanksgiving was great too.
Mine wasn't.
No?
No, I had my teeth removed.
Ah, ew, yuck.
I want to thank everyone who supported the newspaper sale. The Kiwanis Club raised, as they typically do, about $5,000 to $7,000. The money is still coming in, and we'll be delivering Christmas baskets this weekend. It's a little bit different than we used to do. Now we do give cards from Holly Foods, and except for prohibited items, alcohol, tobacco, and lottery tickets, you can buy whatever you want. You need diapers, you need formula, you can buy whatever you want for your family. We get those out early with a turkey this weekend. I want to thank everyone. Selling papers on the corner is, there's a joy to it because people in this community unbelievably respond generously. So
That's good.
it's a lot of fun, and a lot of good will come of it. I was drafted in as a volunteer at the Dickens Festival. George Cullis says that I had a difficult time learning how to work behind the bar. That's his joke, not my joke. But I enjoyed it. It was a good time. It was very busy from what I observed down there, and also from the parking in my neck of the woods too. So all very well. And everyone have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you.
No objection. We're adjourned.
Good.
7:40.